What's this making news this morning on our business headlines? Nigeria's first Monetary Policy Committee meeting is now confirmed for April 3rd and 4th after the Easter holiday weekend. The Senate is expected to keep its promise to screen President Buhari's 4 nominees before the end of this week. Meantime, the Nigeria Labour Union says they're planning to shut down Nigeria or call a strike action across the country over the alleged fraud of about 30 billion naira at the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, or the NSITF. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, of course, is already investigating some former officials of the NSITF, as a new board for the fund is not yet inaugurated by the Labour Minister. Into some company news to start your week. Transcorp Hotels PLC, listed in the hospitality segment of the NSE, has gotten shareholders' approval to raise 40 billion naira to upgrade its main facility, headquartered in Abuja. Meantime, GTI Capital has raised 502 million naira as an equity fund to jumpstart Morrison Industries PLC, one of the small industrial companies listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That's in the news this morning. What else is in the news? It's a very nasty week for the equities last week. We lost hundreds of billions of naira, and this is how we finish up. Bring it on. Thank you. A very bold read. We lost 43,000. Then we lost 42,000. 2.85%. Very bad week. Very nasty week. Very crazy. Then we lost everything down to 15 trillion naira when it comes to equity cap. And that's where we starting this week for you. So yeah, you can see there all share there at 41,935.93. In terms of transactions, let's take that up. Folks, look at the numbers. We traded 2.44 billion during the week for 36.6 billion naira in 26,702. So since the month of March started, we've lost about 3.22% on the market, and year to date we're now single digit, 9.66%. Another very good way to go. But of course, we're looking at how investors are getting are chopping off the market despite some of the earnings that we saw in the last trading week. So bring on those 5 main sectors of the market and let's look at them together. You can see a very bold red for the banks. Investors discounted those earnings from big lenders, GT Bank and Zenith, and threw in the knife and cut almost 10% of the sector. Consumer goods lost about 1.59%. Industrial goods a little bit milder, about 0.2%. Oil and gas lost 1.64%. as investors book profit on some of the listed companies there. Insurance was the only green shoot in the week, 0.25%. So let's begin the oil and gas very quickly and show you where we finished off on Friday. We saw a bit of a more profit taking on Seplat, the E&P company, the oil and gas company, lost about 1% on Friday as investors look at this particular stock, draining that stock down a little bit to 760 naira per share. Those were grey shoots on Friday. Let's roll that over, folks, and go to where some of the news really are. Total was a single shoot, about 0.04%. That's just a blip on the radar, moving, could almost move much of the needle, 246.1. Etana Oil saw a massive 5% haircut to 570, 570 on the counter. Then Japol continued to see investors taking back some of the profits that you saw there, massive 2.642 million shares on Friday, back now at 67 kobo per share on the counter. So as we have the big market, the NSE losing shit, the NASD over the counter was gaining a little bit. We saw about 2.75% on Friday with this market. US side, that's the unlisted securities index, up to 661.30. And the market cap got a bit of its bearings back at 447.52 in terms of the total value of that very small market, 41,924 transactions on Friday, the final trading day for last week. The big news of course, which will be the main conversation for today, is around the fixed income, what you call the bills and bonds. So we go to the FMDQ over-the-counter market, give you a summary of what this looked like Friday. Those are the four most actively traded treasuries, 63.93 billion. The only transaction day last week when it was double-digit, we had triple around the bottom line there, but quite a lot of stories around there for the week we just finished, and a bit of giving you a sneak preview into the current week. So let's just move on quickly and let you have this before we go on break. This is what the bills and bond markets look like. Let's give you that. Coupon payment last week of about 51.12 billion from the March 2024 maturing bonds. The debt office repaid 51.12 billion to investors. Of course, when you do bonds, you have what you call the dated, and you have a bit of that coupon payment. That was 51.12 billion. That money came into the system. Matured open market operation bills, treasury bills, 261.84 billion came into the marketplace. Matured treasury bills on Thursday, 191.44 billion naira. If you do a simple math, we're looking at something close to 480 billion naira. Then you find the expected inflows of another 226 billion naira via bond coupons, open market operations, and Nigerian treasury bills. That's what the NTB there stands for. Where are we as far as moving forward? You have the central bank second quarter treasury bills calendar showing reduced offerings of about 481 billion against 964 earlier. I thought that will be maturing during this period. Quite a lot more to talk about when we return. You're watching Business Morning, and of course, we're going to have our MPC April the 3rd and 4th. We'll talk about that when we come back.